Hey you guys, Dev here at WeBuyHouses.com. Welcome to the Cash Offer Masterclass, episode number 74. Our victim today is this house right here in San Antonio, Texas. I like this house. It's a two-story house, about 1,600 square feet, has 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, which is just nice to have that extra bathroom in the morning when the family's getting ready. Guys, I think this is a really good investor house. And so whether this house was in San Antonio or in whatever city you're in right now, the metrics and the way we analyze it would be exactly the same. So let's jump into this one and see what we have here. This house came to us from Fazio Real Estate Solutions. These guys, I have no relationship with Fazio, but they send me a ton of houses, and it just gives us excellent content to use here for educational purposes. We thank them so much. If you have any interest in this house or in anything that they've found in the state of Texas or Florida or wherever they are these days, you can reach out to them. Reach out to Jade Vaughn at 214-646-9646. And that's those guys. And I thank them so much for this property. And why do I like it? Well, let's look at the number one. I love Fazio's emails. As a wholesaler, I'm getting some other emails and saying, hey, show my deal, feature my deal, or whatever. But they don't have all the elements that are really necessary for us to evaluate the deal. And I think if you're a wholesaler, that's something you really need to pay attention to. Look at what these guys do. Look at the way that they give us, the high level information and then the information about the big 5 things that we care about that can really mess our deal up, cost wise. And they give us great pictures. And so the elements of these things come together to really allow a cash buyer to look at a property without having to actually go look at it physically with eyeballs. So, it's just this is very well done, and that's one of the reasons we use their content. This house is at 7274 Flaming Forest Street in San Antonio, Texas, 78250. I'm going to show you this location. There's a few things I like about it. You guys know I like HEBs and stuff like that. HEB Grocery. They got 2 of them around there, guys. I'm so envious. We have 0 here in Arlington right now, but we got one coming in Hurst, Texas, in the mid cities. We're very excited about that one, so it's coming soon. I'm just saying this house in San Antonio is in it's a really nice area, as far as the retail access goes. Now they say it's ARV 289,500. Of course, we will confirm that. What does ARV means? It means the after repaired value, what the house can be worth after we purchase it, fix it up, put it back on the market. And the opportunity being offered by Fazio for the cash buyer is 167,500 for this house. Here's one of those things I was telling you about that they really, number one, they sell you the house, which I really like. Talking about school districts and things like that. We've talked about how important schools are in the past, and they know that will be important to your end buyer, as a cash investor. They talk about the big 5: the roof, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, and foundation. These are the big 5 things we really have to understand if there's problems in any of those areas, because that will significantly affect the economics of the deal. And they're pretty good, I'll tell you. If they think there's a problem, they'll say do your due diligence. And if they're not aware of any problem, they'll say no known issues. And we kind of like to see no known issues on a property like this one, because as you'll see, it's priced very close to the 70% discount factor. So it'd be really nice if it was in otherwise great shape, but we'll jump into it and see. Okay, let's begin by, our step number 1 is to actually check to see if the after repaired value that the wholesaler gives us is the one, is correct or is accurate according to our process. Now, if we had a real estate license, our process would include doing a CMA or competitive market analysis to check out comparable homes that have sold recently in the last 6 months or so around this property in that school district. And, that would help us to determine what those homes sold at per square foot. We could apply that to the 1629 on this house, and we'd be off to the races. Now, if we don't have a real estate license, what we're going to do is we're going to look at public sites, Zillow, Redfin, Realtor, and also one of our private sites, which is Property Radar, which gives us a lot more information about the property. And we'll average those together and determine, is that 289 realistic? Because if we bought this house and we listed it, it's going to be going up against properties, well, really up against these websites. If you think about it, the Zillow Zestimate is a hard thing to argue against. And if you ask 400 for a property and people look and see the Zestimate was 350, that's going to cause them concern. So these numbers that are on these websites definitely, we hope they reflect the ARV or the after repaired value. And certainly we hope that they're accurate, so they don't work against us. Now, this Zestimate, as we look at the property on Zillow, is $231,700. We can see it's not currently listed. It's off market. And they're saying that would be around $142 per square foot. Now, why do we treat the Zillow or Redfin or Realtor estimates as the ARV? Well, they don't know the condition of the home. And so they're using comparable recently sold properties. Most of these models are using recent comps around the property, and they're determining a number based upon that. And so they don't know if the house is in bad condition. If we know the house is in bad condition, then we know that even though it shows this estimate of 230, it may only be worth 130. And that gives us an advantage, as far as buying this property for cash, fixing it, putting it back on the market, and hopefully capturing that Zestimate value. Now, sometimes we've noticed lately the Zestimates are a little bit low compared to the other sites, and that's an interesting dynamic that's going on. But if you look, we have seen here in Texas that in most of our markets, we peaked in 2022, and then we've fallen off a little bit since then. So back in 2022, they said it was 260, and that it's fallen down to 232. Remember, our wholesaler said 289, 500. I don't think obviously the house never had a Zestimate of 289, 500 or higher. It has always been lower. So that's our first one. And you'll see in a moment, we're plugging these numbers into our cash offer calculator. On Realtor, we see an estimate of 243, 254. Now, Realtor, one of the things I like to look at is to see what their source is. Realtor's one that doesn't claim to be making these estimates. They claim to be using third-party sources and averaging or choosing one of the sources to feature as their estimate. And we can see that the 256 is CoreLogic, 242 is Quantarium, and that gives us a sense of where those numbers are coming from, and a couple more numbers to think about as far as with CoreLogic being in the 250s, Quantarium in the 240s. Two different sources, same house, had a answer. It was about 10 grand apart. Redfin shows it at 235, 827. Has some pictures. I don't know if these are the current pictures. I don't think they are. I think these might be pictures of when the home was listed last, and that would have been way back in 2007. So sometimes with these sites, we'll look at a house that's in horrible condition, but when we look on Realtor or Redfin, we're actually seeing the house as it existed many, many years ago. In this case, 18 years ago. That's why I think those pictures are from. Might be a cool kind of before and after view of the property. And basically, one of the things I like from Redfin, I like their market trends. It kind of gives me a sense, at least with their metrics, of is it a buyer's market or seller's market there? They say it's very balanced with 56 days on market. It's not increasing very much, so no big deal. Average median sales price 245 in that zip code, and 97% of them are selling close to the or on the list price. All right, so we take those numbers and then we take the number from Property Radar. I can't show you that screen because it has a lot of personal information about the owner, but I can go to the calculator and tell you this is what we got from our 4 sites. Property Radar was definitely the highest one. And I'll be honest, I kind of like Property Radar's evaluation tool. I think it's pretty accurate because it definitely uses recently sold comps and things like that. And I've noticed in the past, say when we'll do a CMA on one of these properties, we'll find that often the CMA is a little higher than the number that we're getting from the public sites. And I think it mirrors pretty much what we see from Property Radar. And so I play around with that idea a little bit here. I've got a median of 241, an average of 241, median of 239. And when I come in over here and put in my numbers, like at the 142 that Zillow said that was 231, right? That Zillow had. I'm actually thinking, just to give this house a shot, I'm going to go at 150 per square foot on this 1,600 square foot house. Get me a little closer to the Property Radar number, but to not just blow past the average and median and all that. I'm kind of picking a midpoint between the two. Actually, not even the midpoint. So, because I think the potential selling price of this house is above 230. I think it could be as much as 256. Who knows? We're going to go with 244. It's a nice round $150 per square foot. Now, what does that tell us right now? At $150 per square foot, or a 244K ARV, if the house was in excellent condition, we could sell that, or we could buy it at our 70% discount factor for $171. How much does the wholesaler want? They want $167,500. That's why I chose this one today. Number one, it was a great house, great location. In fact, I need to show you the location. Great house, great location. Seems to fit the metrics of a real estate investor deal. And the big five were in good shape. So, right now, the issue that we're immediately going to have is that we've only got $4,000 in there for repairs. And if this house needs any repairs, they're probably going to be more than $4,000. So, it's right on the edge of a good deal. It's close to being a good deal. I did forget to show you the location. Let's jump back and do that before we go out and look at the pictures and all that kind of thing. So when I looked at it on the map, here's what I see. Now, you guys know Texas, San Antonio's down here in South Central Texas. As we start to zoom in, we see this property is over here in the northwest area of the city. It's inside the 1604 loop. And it's really, like I said, as far as retail, I don't know if it gets any better. They've got look at this. Walmart Supercenter, Walmart Neighborhood, Walmart Supercenter. Wait, I'm missing the point I wanted to make. They got a HEB down here. They have an HEB up there. They've got Home Depot and Lowe's right near each other. So look, what else do you need? You don't have to leave this area of San Antonio. You've got all the food and and home repair supplies that you'll need for the coming future. So that's where it is in the city. I believe that is a nice area. I don't know San Antonio all that well. Now, when I went to look at it on street view, so we can drive around the street a little bit, take a look at it, I noticed the neighbor's house is blurred out. And so maybe there's somebody there that's on the witness protection program, or they're just extremely paranoid about the fact that people could drive by their house on a digital map. Now, as we drive around the parts that we can see, see how that blur just screws up the whole thing for everybody. I like that house. I like that style. That's pretty cool. So yeah, look, clean, decent neighborhood. It's got a number of 2 stories in it. It's it's a nice area. We could drive around quite a bit. I have a feeling in all cases, we're going to see a 1980 neighborhood that's in relatively decent shape, with one really, really blurred out house right there, like something we are just not supposed to know about right there. Okay, so that's it. Now we've seen it. Now we can go back, look at the email. We're going to look at the house itself in the pictures that they provided. And so let's do that. Whoops, click. All right. And we jump into these photos. We're outside. The exterior looks pretty good. If I go in on this photo, it doesn't look horrible. There's a little bit, look at that. You can see a little bit of, discoloration along the flashing right there. The edge of the roof is a little concerning, in that it looks like it might be a little crusty, but along the edges and maybe a little bit chipped up. If you put a ladder against your roof, you're probably going to chip up your shingles. Brick looks good. Paint looks good. Garage door's a little bent up right there. Driveway looks pretty good. Not too cracked up. Yep. See, that driveway actually it's pretty good. It's a lot better than the ones we see up here in DFW. A 1980 home. It's probably gonna have multiple cracks in it up here. Maybe the soil's a little better down there. I don't know how old this roof is. I don't think it's super new, but I've always told you guys it's very hard to tell much about a roof in photos. Couple of different photos. I think a lot of the discoloration is caused when you have trees that drop a lot of leaf material onto the roof. See, I'm just seeing what I believe is discoloration. Doesn't necessarily mean it's done, but it's probably past its half-life. Little bit of what looks like it might be some water damage. Excuse me. Maybe some water damage here at the base of those sections of the garage door there. I really do like that siding. Overall, I like the colors. We're not stuck with the colors. We could paint it anything we want, but if we're going to keep them, these colors don't suck. The gray and kind of nice beige that probably has a little bit of gray in it. The reason that they kind of go together. The brick, don't love the brick. I mean, it's just an ugly brick. So what are you going to do with that? It had enough little gray pieces in there that they got away with putting some gray next to it. So that's fine. It looks okay. And I'm not seeing a lot of settlement or anything along the edges. Looks like it's been kept in pretty good shape, to be honest. Goodman outside. The condenser unit looks pretty good. In fact, it looks really good. I'm betting that's in good shape. There's your electrical and a bunch of other stuff. TV or whatever. That outside electrical's interesting. I don't really know what are we seeing there? Because I'm assuming you'd have you got two 50s there and 50s there. I'm guessing this just feeds the AC unit and then feeds that panel on the inside of the house. Again, outside condenser unit looks pretty good. Oh, I thought that was wiring. It's not wiring. It's a vine. Gotta get that thing off of there. Who uses those things anymore? Any of you guys use like a dish on your house? I don't know of many people using dishes anymore. Isn't that cool? I like the paint colors. And the look of that looks pretty cool. Fence looks all right. Whoops. We've got some missing components here to the gutter system. I don't know. In fact, a whole gutter is missing. There's a downpipe with no gutter. I don't know. Maybe it came off the top, but I don't see a gutter up there at the top either. So don't know exactly what we're seeing there, why the gutter downspout was even there. This looks a little weird in my opinion, how this just comes down. That plate or panel right there comes right down to that door. Just looks, maybe it's the way they painted it. If that was all painted one color, I probably would not think that at all. Going into the house, here's one of the 3 bathrooms. I'm guessing this might be a 2.5 bath, and that is the half bath. Actually, not a 3, unless we turn around and see a shower. I don't think we're going to see a shower right there. Anyway, stuff in there looks all right. Looks fine. Do we have popcorn on the ceiling? Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, definitely a half bath. It's fine. Can't count that as a full, guys. It's a half. All right, we're coming into this room from what appears to be a bathroom. And got several colors going on there. But again, we don't care too much about that because we're going to repaint that because they use gloss paint. They use gloss paint, and maybe not everywhere, but certainly right there they did. And I don't think people really want glossy paint in their living areas. Maybe in their bathrooms and kitchen, if that makes sense. Yeah, you can tell paint's pretty old. This thing's all going to be repainted. It's just not worth trying to keep or save any of that coloration. they tried a lot of different things with their colors, and some worked, some maybe not so much, and it just looks pretty dirty. This is a house that needs complete paint job. Flooring looks like it could be okay. It depends on your exit strategy on the house. You know, if you're trying to get it to max dollars, you might, be really critical of the floors. If you're just trying to get to rental, it might be there. Definitely looks to me like a popcorn ceiling, and maybe a popcorn ceiling that's been painted over with gloss paint, because it's very shiny for a popcorn ceiling. You can really see the popcorn. Yeah, if that's not popcorn, it's popcorn adjacent. That's very popcorny. Look at that. Just look in that photo, how much that texture just overwhelms your view. And I think a lot of it is because of gloss paint. Guys, you don't use gloss paint on interior walls, and I think they've used it. I don't think the blue is gloss that I can tell, but that I think is definitely the ceiling. They glossed up that ceiling for you. No extra charge. I think they've done it everywhere. I think at some point they just painted over the whole ceiling in this house. All right, it's got a fireplace and such. I don't hate the floors. I think they could be okay. Like I said, for rental, the floors would be fine. For flip, these are old floors from 1980. And glossy popcorn. I feel like I'm just falling into that glossy popcorn hole. Okay, so, and I also don't care for the color transition between the floor and the tile in the kitchen. I like the way they put the tile kind of at an angle. It gives it more character, a little more interesting than if that's just square to the room. So it takes a little more talent, a little more time to do that treatment. And yeah, there we go with your eating area. Light colored cabinets don't look bad, to be honest. They look of decent quality. That kitchen countertop is a linoleum product. You can see it's kind of broken off there on the edge. I would definitely like to put a granite, something real in there as far as a countertop. Backsplash looks okay. All this stuff looks, okay. I don't love it. And I also feel like what I'm seeing here may be that there was no fan over the stove causing discoloration on the ceiling above, is what I think I'm seeing there. I'm not 100% sure. There's a sink. It's old, 1980. Looks okay. Probably replaced that once, but it's not new. Everything looks okay under there. All right. I think we might be in a laundry room right there. Is that where? I'm pretty sure that's where we are. Looking into that room there. Oh, that's a garage. That's what we're looking into. I thought they were working out in that room. They're working out in the garage. Garage, no garage door openers. That's kind of a bummer. Why would you? 1980. Dude, 45 years later, nobody put in a garage door opener. It's up to us, gentlemen and ladies. We need to buy this place, save it. Save it from history. That's an interesting little space there. Yep, a lot of time spent on the garage. I don't care about the garage. Garage is fine. It's fine. Okay, enough of the garage. Oh, enough of the garage. Enough of the garage. Okay, got a water heater out there. It's got a pan under it, which is, probably more recent than 1980. I don't know. It's got an expansion tank up there. I've not seen that. Just one of you guys tell me in the comments what does that expansion tank does. I don't know. We could go ask ChatGPT, but I don't have time to do that. We're trying to get through the pics and make a decision here. And yeah, interesting. Yeah, all paint. And again, we see a very popcorny ceiling. Some crazy glass put in around the door there, and in the door. That's interesting. There's that half bath. Right, man, you come in, you need a pee, you get home, run in that door, you're right there. You're right there. And your guest, you can offer that to them as soon as they come in. Like, would you like to, do you need to, Flooring looks like 1980 carpet that has definitely seen a better day. That needs to go. Paint all needs to go. Ceiling, I hate it. I just hate it. I think I hate it more than regular popcorn because in regular popcorn, it's not usually glossy. And I think somebody came over here and rollered or sprayed glossy paint all over that popcorn. And, it's just disgusting. I don't like it at all. And I think, you could fix this house all up. If you don't deal with that popcorn, somebody's going to walk in this thing. You'll never know why they walked out without buying your property. And it'll be because you had a big glossy popcorn ceiling. Just not good. I guess seems to be what, at the top of the stairs? Might be like it seems like it might be a bedroom because it's got a closet. Yeah, I believe it's a bedroom. Look at that. Look at that up there. This is very concerning. This is very concerning. If somebody did start to do this, there's a reason they stopped doing this. I don't like the discoloration that you see in the sheetrock up there. It's just very concerning. Don't know what got started here or what state it's in. You really need to get up in the attic of this house and figure out what's going on up above there. Why did they do this? Yeah. And then same thing, I think through the whole upper deck, the second story, you're going to see this. And look at all that disgustingness around the edges. I don't know what we're seeing here. Very, very kind of unusual. I mean, there's a reason for it. It's not that unusual, but there's some stuff going on up there. And that bathroom, that countertop looks gross. It just looks gross, I mean, particularly with the color choices they've made. We got all kinds of crazy coloration going on right there, fellas. All right, so that's it for this. Let's jump over and score this thing. See what we think. Well, we were hoping it might not need anything, and then the deal at 167 would be quite the deal, because we could pay up to 171 in perfect condition. It was not in perfect condition. It needed a full cosmetic. That's $16K. I think there was also repairs that were needed. Like I'm going to assume that we weren't just ready to go in there and paint that ceiling. Why didn't they paint the ceiling? They did all that work. Why didn't they texture and paint that ceiling? Whoever did that work, or did they do that work to stop a leak or a problem or something. I don't know. I just don't know. The other thing is, I think the roof on this thing is potentially a 1980 roof. I don't know if it's 1980. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's been replaced once and it's a 20-year-old roof. I don't know, but if I was to say this might need roof, let's say it's not there yet, but it's on its way there. I need to discount the property for the fact that the roof is past its half life. Then, I would hit it for, half a roof instead of a full roof, because at some point we're going to have to, replace it. So might as well start to put some money aside for that. I didn't see anything else. The HVAC parts that we did see look pretty good. I didn't see a bunch of cracks that told me there was a foundation problem. It did look like it was recently lived in, so electrical and plumbing are probably functional. I'm just going to stop right there and say about 140 is where I would be on this house. Let's just recap by doing our cash offer calculation. We determined that the after repaired value might be around 244,000. When we apply our 70% discount factor to that, we get to 171,000. And then repairs of 31,766. That takes us to a cash offer of 139,280. And so it's just rounded up to 140. I think is what we could pay for this house. They're looking for 167. We're pretty far apart right there. And so maybe in the future we'll find that they're able to drop the price on this one a little bit, get a little closer to where we would be. But yeah, this property needed a lot more repairs than I hoped for, and so as a result, I can't pay as much as they hoped for, if that makes sense. All right, guys, that's it for today. Episode number 74 is in the books, guys. If you're a real estate investor, I just want to remind you what we do for real estate investors. We have 3 services. We sell leads, something called Fast Home Offer. We sell an entire brand and systems package for exclusive territories in the WeBuyHouses.com brand, and we also connect our partners like Realtor.com and other companies to our investor network through a referral network called Housing Ballet. If you want to learn about any of those things, just reach out to my buddy Mike there at 817-435-4446. The other thing I'd throw out, if you're a homeowner, you have a house to sell and you don't want to, maybe it looks like the one we looked at today. It just needs a lot of work. The ceiling's all messed up. Nobody's going to go in there and buy that house off the MLS. You need to sell it to a cash buyer. Well, the best way to get hooked up to a reputable cash buyer in your area is to go to WeBuyHouses.com, put in your home information, and you're going to get a cash offer, the fastest, fairest cash offer you can get from anybody in the country. I promise you that. So definitely check that out. Hey, guys, and last I'll say, just remember Cash Offer Masterclass is available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Guys, you can just type Cash Offer Masterclass into YouTube or even Google, and you'll go right to the website, right to the YouTube channel. We're at 1,880 subs. I was hoping to get to, I started this thing in September last year. I was hoping to get to 1,000 by the end of the year. We hit that at Thanksgiving. We hit 1,500 on Christmas. And I think here by next week, we could definitely be at 2,000 subscribers. Of course, I need your help on that part. Please go down there if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. I promise I won't pester you that much, but I will send you lots of cool houses to look at, and we'll be learning a lot about how to calculate cash offers and make profitable deals in the residential real estate market. That's what we're here for at Cash Offer Masterclass. Guys, I've really enjoyed my time with you today. I want to wish you a happy new year if I haven't already, or if it's still in January. Otherwise, just have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you soon. Got a bunch planned for 2026, so be sure to subscribe. See you soon.